That's crazy.
In order, please stand for the pledge. Alejandra, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Ms. Elcha? Here. Mr. Lindemann?
Here.
Mr. Ramos?
Here.
Mr. Barin?
Here, item 1D, approval of the minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of March 28, 2023. Mr. Lindemann?
I move to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Elcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Barin?
Yes. Item E, summary of current events. Ms. Samaniego.
Yes. Good evening, Mr. President, board members, and members of our staff and community. First of all, want to inform you and thank Mr. Lindemann and Ms. Salchow for attending our Employee of the Year awards banquet. It was very nice. I want to thank our food service department for doing a fantastic job, and to all the teachers that were honored. I also, obviously it's May and it's the end of the school year. Going to be having and sending invitations out to you for middle school completion ceremonies, and of course Douglas High School graduation. That is at the end of the month. In addition to, I want to take this opportunity, it is Alejandra's last board meeting as an ex officio member of this board. And Alejandra, it's been a pleasure working with you this year. You're a breath of fresh air, that beautiful smile, and always positivity, and making it here to board meetings, because sometimes we've had members as the ex officio that are very involved in homework and other activities that sometimes they can't make it to board meetings, so we know that happens. But thank you for making the time, for always giving us a wonderful report. And at any time during this meeting, if you want to say something, please go ahead, because Mr. Barin says, tell us your opinion on anything. And I know you're going to miss Mr. Barin the most. So thank you. Thank you for being here. And so we have a little token of our appreciation. And it says, Alejandra McGrew, DUSD ex officio student member for 22-23 school year. So you get to keep this, because once a bulldog, is a bulldog. You can go to the front if you want. It's easier. It's easier.
I want to say thank you to you guys and the board members for giving me an opportunity to be an ex officio member. I know I didn't talk, and you guys told me every meeting to say something, but I did learn a lot from you guys, and I know a lot more like what's going on in our district and about the school, and I want to thank you guys very much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you. Governing board members' reports. Mr. Smith.
I wanted to let you guys know one of the things that I attended was the Douglas baseball game against Rio Rico, and following that they had the Student Athletic Leadership Council, SALC, were inducting outstanding Douglas athletes into the Athletic Hall of Fame. And so they had that ceremony following the game, which we got to sit and watch them honor those outstanding athletes. My wife and I attended the Douglas High School drama production that they did of the Addams Family musical. It was very obvious the amount of time and effort those kids put into doing all the songs and stuff like that. I sure wouldn't have the nerve to do it. And then a number of us went to the Night of Excellence, where we helped give awards out to students that had showed high levels of proficiency in the state test. So,
Very good. Thank you. And I may want just a quick comment from the superintendent regarding that Night of Excellence. If we could just go back to your report, we'll come to you, Janet, in a second, if it's all right, if you had something you want to say. But I don't want to preempt any of you. But since he did mention that, I think because of all of the public comments, and especially the let's say, the constructive criticism.
Yes.
Could you kind of comment on that whole
Yes.
episode?
So the Night of Excellence did honor and recognize a lot of students. We were hoping that the parents would only take 2 guests as, informed, because we know we have a limited space, and that didn't happen. So that caused, especially at the middle school level, there were a lot of parents and guests that didn't provide a seating for all parents, and that made that is a huge concern of mine. So moving forward and realizing, and the constructive criticism, the discussions amongst the leadership team, and the review of the event in itself that I'm going to have with the curriculum department, who kind of organizes and puts this together. We're going to put some parameters in place around, the award itself, the requirements to receive the award, so that it is an event where it is more, it's better attended by the parents that, and actually have a seat to watch their kids get their award or their medal, so that we don't have the issues from parking to long lines to seating unavailable to our parents. We do want to continue recognizing students, but we're going to put some measures around just even the requirement to receive a distinguished award, so that our parents that are there can actually get to sit down and enjoy the evening.
Okay, thank you. That kind of gives kind of an
Yes.
official explanation and justification for what should have happened and didn't happen, or for what happened and should.
And we will have security there next year.
Great. Ms. Salchow, any report?
No, I attended the ceremony for academic, or the Excellence Awards, and I was really impressed by overall most of the behavior there was really quite good. You had everybody from 4th grade through 12th grade in 3 different ceremonies, so that takes a lot, especially our Douglas High School students. They behave like ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Mr. Lindeman, do you have any report?
I just want to make a quick comment along those lines, too. I did attend all these excellence award nights and the DUSD award nights and everything, and it just comes to me that our community and our students are high achieving and really wonderful students, and we have a lot to be proud of ourselves, and so, that's all I wanted to say.
Mr. Ramos, any report?
Yes, I was very proud to hear that so many of our students received awards. A little disturbed with the email that I received, but I took it as just criticism, and but hopefully for next year it will be better done to be able to have the accommodations appropriate for the amount of people that are going to show up, and makes you feel proud to see so many students there, and parents too being there.
Yes.
Thank you. Item F, Alejandra.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Samaniego, members of the public. The activity report at DHS and DUSD schools for the month of May is as follows. School highlights. We've got great news to share about our students and staff at DHS. We want to congratulate our new Teacher of the Year, Luis Rivera, and Support Staff of the Year, Sergio Rivera. Congratulations to Andrea Barayardos. She is the Cochise County Teacher of the Year. She was also named the 2023 Advisor of the Year for the AZ SkillsUSA Chapter, SkillsUSA Regional Chapter, and a finalist for the SkillsUSA Nationals. DHS SkillsUSA won Gold Chapter of Excellence and Model of Excellence and the Jefferson Award for the highest scoring chapter. They won gold in mobile robotics and automation technology, silver and bronze in technical drafting. Congratulations to softball, baseball, track, and boys tennis for their state appearance. Amazing job to our drama club for their performance in the Addams Family musical. What's going on in our district? DHS. May 3rd is the HOSA award ceremony. May 5th through the 6th is the FFA Colt Conference. May 6th is SAT testing. May 8th, DHS Futures Night. May 7th through the 10th is Seniors Disney Trip. May 11th, Literary Showcase. May 15th, Senior Athletes Awards Ceremony. May 17th, Underclassmen Awards Ceremony at 1 p.m. And May 17th, Senior Awards Ceremony at 6 p.m. On May 18th is a band concert. May 19th, project graduation senior night. May 22nd, class of 2023 senior walk. May 22nd, film and media showcase. May 23rd, senior fun day. And May 26th, DHS graduation. Ray Brain Middle School, congratulations to our Teacher of the Year, Mr. Luis Alvarez, and Classified Staff of the Year, Mrs. Terry Rojas. Cougar Chella and the Color Run will be on Wednesday, May 17th at 1:30 p.m. And the 8th grade promotion ceremony will be on Wednesday, May 24th at 10:30 a.m. Paul Huber Middle School, congratulations to our Teacher of the Year, Andrea Estrada, and our support staff of the year, Juan Montaño. Spring Fling, May 18th, promotion dance May 23rd from 6 to 9, and promotion ceremony on May 24th at 8:30. Clausen, congratulations to our Teacher of the Year, Ana Daniel, and Classified Staff of the Year, Vanessa Monge. This month we will have our May the 4th Be With You Mile Run and our annual Color Run on May 19th. We also have our May shenanigans from park days, field days, promotions, and our annual Teacher versus 5th grade kickball game. Stevenson, 2023 Teacher of the Year, Mr. De La Rue, and 2023 Staff of the Year, Mrs. Diana Moss. Congratulations to both. Joe Carlson, congratulations to our Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Ana Ballesteros, and our Classified Staff of the Year, Mrs. Rosana Leon. Our Scholastic Buy One Get One Free book fair will be from May 8th to the 12th with Family Night on Friday, May 12th. We will have our preschool, kindergarten, and 5th grade promotions and our award assemblies for grades 1st through 4th on Monday and Tuesday, May 22nd and May 23rd. Sarah Marley. Congratulations to Sarah Marley, Teacher of the Year, Perla Vasquez, and Classified Staff Member of the Year, Joey Rodriguez. Sarah Marley had our annual Children's Day Festival on Friday, April 28th. It was attended by over 125 parents and family members. And fairs. Congratulations to Mrs. Hughes as Ferris's Teacher of the Year and Mrs. Romero as Ferris's Classified Staff of the Year. Kindergarten will have their Mother's Day Tea Party on May 11th, and our kindergarten and 5th grade promotion celebrations will take place on May 23rd. And that's it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Lots of activities.
Budget and travel report, Mr. Soto.
Good evening, Mr. President, board members. We have the balance report for the month of April. And if you remember, we did a budget revision not long ago. But we're going to have to do another one, the last one for the fiscal year that is due by May 15. So we're going to have to bother you soon for a special board meeting for that. But presently, we have the report. I don't know if you have specific questions about that report.
Members of the board, any questions regarding the budget or the financial aspect of it? Anything else, travel? Nothing?
There's nothing out of the ordinary on travel unless you guys have a question, but
Mrs. Cox?
So good evening. So currently our
Your
enrollment,
mic, thank you.
our enrollment is 3750. We have a total of 197 new enrollments. We have 188 annual residency requirement paperwork pending. So overall, we've done well. We just have 188 to go throughout the district. Teacher contracts were sent out and are due by the end of the week for most teachers. And then we will know if we have additional vacancies. Currently, we have one elementary position that is unfilled, 3 middle school positions, approximately 10 high school positions. We are still looking for a dean of students, and we have a principal position at this time.
Members of the board, any questions or comments regarding that report? Okay, and I noticed you have the next item is you've got Martha Alonso reporting on HOSA. So-
Yes, so Ms. Alonso, and we have a lot of students, and so they're going to come in, do their presentation, and then SkillsUSA will come next. Maybe they can go on both sides.
You know, this event is making Mr. Lindemann's argument
Yes,
about
I
a bigger
know.
boardroom.
I was just going to say that.
But he can't convince Mr. Soto to do it, so, anyway, go ahead, Martha.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, members of the public, Ms. Amaniego, and administration. So we are here to tell you a little bit about HOSA and SkillsUSA. So HOSA is going first, and we do have a presentation. Here we go. Thank you. So this year's theme for HOSA was Beyond All Limits, and HOSA is the Future Health Professionals. In the past, we used to be, HOSA stood for Health Occupations, but now the word HOSA just means Future Health Professionals. So at Douglas High School, we have 4 chapters, and the point of HOSA is a student-led organization that focuses on promoting healthcare careers and providing students with opportunities to learn and network. And so currently at Douglas High School, we have 163 members, and you can see when we went to state, we were a pretty impressive congregation once we get there. So this year, we had 80 students qualify to go to regionals. I don't know how we can make next. We had 80 students that qualified to go to regionals, and we had over 100 students that qualified to go to state. So those that you see on your screen, very tiny, are 63 students that placed in the top 10 of Arizona. The top 3 are eligible to attend nationals. I should say internationals. We actually have Japan, Canada, we have China, and a couple other countries that attend our national conference or international conference. And so the students that you see tonight here are those that are actually going to the international conference. But we did have students place in the top 10 for a variety of different presentations. So who is going to International Leadership Conference in Dallas, Texas? You're going to hear a lot from me tonight, more than you want to, so I'm going to have them talk to you about it because you're hear me all the time. So I'm going to introduce to you our reporter. She's one of our officers. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone.
You're taller.
I am. Parliamentary procedure is the procedure which is held and conducted by the Robert's Rules of Order, and this procedure helps the members gain skills and develop, how can I say it? Well, develop skills and knowledge about how to conduct a meeting properly.
And we've been trying to win first place for many, many, many years. We go every year to nationals for this competition, and this team is the first one that placed first for us.
Hello. So health education is where your team event has to choose a topic and will introduce this topic to a targeted audience, where they will also make a lesson plan with any type of resources they will be using and showing during their presentation. And you make a portfolio. That's basically what the lesson plan is. And that's it.
And you guys placed?
Oh, and we, Carlos and Rosie plays first place, and my team, Morelia, Rubio, Univa, and my team, Montoya, we placed third.
Hi, my name is Grecia, and I, along with Marianne, will be representing HOSA in nursing assistant competitions. We both placed first and second. We've been working as CNAs basically for almost 2 years now, and what we do is help residents with their activities of daily living. This can be like helping them eat or helping them move, transfer, and that's basically what we're gonna do in our skills competition for round 2. And round 1 is testing, knowledge testing, and yeah, we're excited to go and hopefully place. Yes.
And the ladies actually started working during the pandemic. They got a special certification to start working during the pandemic because we were short-staffed in Douglas.
So, hello everyone, my name is Corazon Santana, and my competition is Research, Persuasive Writing, and Speaking. So, this competition consists of writing an essay and then delivering a speech to the judges, which in this year was my topic about how virtual learning affects in a negative way to future health professionals. And this year, I placed second for regionals, and after improving my essay and making some changes to my speech, I was able to place first for state. So I'm excited to go to this year's national, to have another experience, to gain more skills that will help me not only for this HOSA, but for my entire life, to my career, as well as my personal lifestyle.
Good evening, board members. My name is Ezequiel Omando. My competition is prepared speaking. So this competition pertains to a 3 to 5 minute speech, and my topic was about going beyond all limits. So with this speech, I had to talk about my personal struggles, or how I went beyond my limits, and how HOSA helped me go through every challenge. And at region, I got first place. And unfortunately, at state, I lost my voice. So I struggled a little bit, but fortunately enough that I got third place at state, and I'm fortunate enough to go to internationals. And I'm excited to go to internationals because this would be my first time yet. And I'm excited to go through new experiences and make new friends, find new people that I've never thought I would meet before. So I'm very excited to go. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Gaita Espinosa, and I'm part of the public service announcement team. My teammates are Alina del Castillo and Stephanie Hernandez. Sadly, Nicole Michelle wasn't able to attend internationals, but Stephanie Hernandez will be taking her place. Our competition consists... Okay, Nicole wasn't able to attend due to an internship. She at the U of A, and she couldn't really say no to it. Our competition is based on a 30-second public service announcement in which we provide people with resources to improve your mental health. We have a video. I don't know if you guys want to watch it. Can we watch it? Yes?
It's 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's 30 seconds.
They have really cool music. And I do want to point out they are not part of our media arts, so they did an amazing job editing without being in that course. We have one more.
Good afternoon, I'm Cristela Riley, and my competition is Health Career Issues exam. I am competing with Stephanie Hernandez, Estefany Charvaria, Carolina Salmon, and Nicole Preciado. So basically this exam is an exam of health career news throughout the year, and if you pass the exam, you can move on to the international level in Dallas, Texas.
And they have to pay attention to all news outlets to see what's going on in the news.
Thank you.
Well, as you can see, we're very, very proud of our students, and we have a lot of them. So tomorrow night, we will be recognizing them. And Ms. Evelyn is going to give you an invitation to join us tomorrow, and we are very, very fortunate to have this many students be this prepared and going and representing us at nationals. This year, Arizona HOSA had a huge growth in membership. We had a goal of 11,000, and we definitely beat that. So our goal this year for internationals was 400, and we're hoping to be able to beat that and make our mark at nationals. With this group, the parliamentary procedure team, which is only one of them was replaced for this year. Last year they placed 8th at nationals. Nicole Preciado has placed 9th in photography and is going again this year. So among these students have already been students that have placed at the national level. So thank you.
Well, before you leave, first and foremost, what a phenomenal bunch of looking kids, really. They really, I'm sure anywhere they go, we're really, really proud of them to be representing Douglas, the whole community, right?
Yes.
The other thing, Mr. Ovando, was that your name?
Yes.
Who helps him with his preparation? I mean,
Yes.
Quickly, what area of specialization would help him in his presentation and all the things that he does?
So with HOSA, because we have 60 areas of competition, and with having 160 members, it has become hard to help each member independently with their project. So one of the things we did this year was call on all of our teachers, and we had a day where Ms. Melissa Rodriguez, sorry. Ms. Rodriguez gave us an afternoon of early release, and there were teachers that helped us observe their competition and give them direct feedback, so they were able to practice before we went. And so within HOSA, with our medical classes, parliamentary procedures doesn't have anything to do. Speech doesn't have anything to do in our classes, but we try to give them projects like presenting in class that would help them gain those skills. But quite honestly, some of them are just natural. Corazon and Ezequiel are really good speakers, and so they were able to present that. But we had the English department help Corazon with her essay. We were lucky. I asked for help, and we had Mr. Reese, who happens to be like this well-known Google amazing photographer, and I just happened to put him with photography, and he helped the girls that were doing photography. So we have a lot of knowledge in our teachers that we lean on to help prepare the students, and it's not just us as advisors. It's a whole community effort.
Is speech part of any of the English curriculum or components at the high school?
Ms. Fredericks?
Just presentations,
No.
not speech.
No.
Well, we do have a debate club.
Okay.
We do have a debate club. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not speech per se.
Not per se, no.
Okay,
Not
thank you.
specifically public.
Ezequiel has always spoken well, since middle school. He's always
And
had great
Ezequiel has a very interesting
Yes.
story, because what age were you when you started to speak? He was 8 years old when he first spoke, so he had trouble speaking as a child, and now look at him. So,
One of the things he wants to make sure is any competition he goes to is that the majority of the panel, the judges, are women. I think it's
so you can get all the points. You can charm them. And Ms. Barrios is whispering in my ear. Ezequiel, you did speech for FBLA and for Skills, and in Skills you placed 6th in the state. So he is definitely one of our strongest speakers. So I'm going to ask my kids to come stand with you real quick for a picture, and then I'm going to take my kids so that Ms. Barrios, those kids can come in.
Very good.
Mrs. Alonso, when is international?
June 20th through the 25th.
June 20th to the 25th. Mr. Brain, do I have permission to attend?
Please come with us. Ms. Barrios is taking all of our administrators, so you can join us.
This is all about students, and that's what
Yes.
we're all here for.
Yes.
These are our pride and joy. This is what it's all about. You talked about international, and I look around the room here, and I think it would be so impressive. And we're not going to do it, but I would venture to guess that every one of these kids are bilingual, right?
I don't think.
And they, I mean,
I want to say all of them, yeah.
and that, to me, that's That's wonderful.
And I can tell you, when we have a parliamentarian, a national parliamentarian that lives in Bisbee, and we bring him to help our parliamentary team. And one year when he was here, they have a secret problem, so they give him a secret problem, and they have to incorporate it into their meeting that they've already practiced. And he gave him the secret problem, and he was watching them, and he was just astounded that they all spoke Spanish. Like, they immediately changed to Spanish. They prepared completely in Spanish, and then they turned around and presented in English. And he's like, that is unbelievable to me that they completely presented their problem in Spanish. They never spoke English when they were preparing. They spoke in Spanish the entire time, and they turned around and presented in English. So he thought that was just amazing to know that they could
that's
do
wonderful.
that.
It's very, very good, very good. And it's going to help them in their every one of them in their futures, one way or another. I guarantee that. Members of the board.
Just very proud, very, very proud.
Thank you so
So
much.
if you don't mind standing for just 2 seconds, we'll take a picture and then let Ms. Baraya this.
Sure.
Squeeze in the middle, guys.
Stand.
Hurry.
They wanted
Oh, yeah.
Hurry. We need to take one quick picture and then Ms. B has to present.
Go ahead, Mario.
Stay there until they come in, and then we'll go out.
Mr. Soto, we need a boardroom
Yes,
larger than this.
we need a stay.
Absolutely.
Notice Ezekiel's changing this picture.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Good evening, board members, members of the public, and administration. I'm Andrea Barayardos, and I am the SkillsUSA advisor for the Engineering Technology chapter. And if you'll put up the PowerPoint again. There we go. So SkillsUSA is a career and technical student organization that is based in the trades. So it's trades and technology. They also do have health, but in Arizona, health goes to HOSA. So here we just do the trades and the skilled workforce. So there's 395,000 members of SkillsUSA nationwide, and in Arizona we have about 15,000 members. So it covers all 50 states and 3 territories: Guam, American Samoa, and Puerto Rico. There's the 3. So at Douglas High School, we have 8 different classes that fall under SkillsUSA, and next year, with the addition of construction, that will also be a SkillsUSA area. So we have engineering technology, which is my section, and then drafting, automotive technology, film and TV, law enforcement, information technology, firefighting, and graphic design. So our total membership is 141, so we're almost there with HOSA. Hopefully we'll surpass them one day. That's my goal. Okay. Next one. All right, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our chapter president, Fernando Vildosola, and he will talk about our Chapter Excellence Awards.
Hi, my name is Fernando, and thank you. So basically what Chapter Excellence, what it is, it's a recognition for our activities and how we combine them with the elements of it's considered the SkillsUSA framework. So there are 3 different sections. There are personal skills, technical skills, and workplace skills. And there are 17 elements in total, and our goal for the year was to hit every element, and we actually ended up with 21 activities, so we repeated some of them. And could we next one? Do I move it?
But he'll do it too.
Okay. And so these are our Chapter Excellence Awards. So we started off by getting Gold Chapter, and then we got the Jefferson Award, which, who has it? This is our Jefferson Award. This means that we are the highest scoring chapter in Arizona. And then we have Models of Excellence, which means we are one of 24 chapters in the nation to get this award, broken up into 3 of our frameworks. So we got it this year for personal skills. Last year, we actually won it, making us one of 3 top chapters in the nation. Then we also have State Advisor of the Year, which Mrs. B got. And she actually also got National Region 5 Advisor of the Year. So she covers, I think it's 12 states?
Half of the United States.
And can I move it down here? Okay. Jose, you want to come up here? You can go. I'll go.
Okay. Okay, so at state competitions, me and Fernando,
and
as
we have
well,
2
as,
more
well
people.
as Esteban, Bernie, come here. So we
Could you
competed.
guys identify yourselves?
Right. So my name is Jose Angel Hernandez. This is my partner Fernando Villosola, and then we have.
My name is Esteban Montaño, and my partner, Bernardo Morales.
Okay, and at state competitions, all 4 of us placed in the top 3 of the robotics and automation technology competition. So our competition consists of programming a robot to do very specific things. So at our state level, it's a much harder competition than last year's state. This year we had to work with an actual piece from, I believe it was, what was the company? Yeah, who was the company? Applied Cobaltics. Partnered up with SkillsUSA this year, and together they created a very difficult competition for us. Very difficult. And out of 1,025 points, me and Fernando scored 947.5, highest in the state, and Esteban here got 876. 876. I remember your scoring. Yeah. Okay. So my part of the competition consists of actually programming the robot in a computer. I have a little station, and all I do is just tell the robot what to do. My partner here.
I actually wire all the components, not directly from the robot, but such as sensors and lights. And I also do, it's called PLC programming. We can show you pictures after if you guys would like to see the whole layout.
Okay, so in SkillsUSA, only the first place winners go to nationals. So me and Fernando got the opportunity to go to nationals in Atlanta this year, which would be June 19th.
June 18th to the 24th.
Right. And I unfortunately cannot attend because I got the Dorn Scholarship, so I'm going to be 5 weeks at the U of A. So we have Esteban here replacing me. So these 2 will be representing our chapter at nationals this year. Okay.
Stand on the side.
Hello, I'm Moses Miramontes.
And I'm Daniel Coronado.
And we competed in mobile robotics technologies this year. And what we had to accomplish, we were sent to state this year, and we represented Douglas, Arizona. And we had to compete in spin up, which was this year's game. And the objective of the game is to score as many points by picking up discs from the ground and scoring them into a high goal. There's rollers along the side of the arena, and then there's also the last 10 seconds we get to expand a robot all over the field in order to gain points. So that was our game this year, and we won first place for that.
So basically, our robot, we had to choose what functions it would do because clearly we don't have enough time with a minute. In mine, there was over 60 discs on the field. The field is 12 by 12 feet. So small little robot, about 18 by 18 inches to cover a 12 by 12 field. So we obviously had a time constraint. So we chose to go for rollers, which would be 10 points. Small little details like that. We would get discs along the way, and our expansion was the part of our robot that got us the furthest. We basically made miniature catapults on top of our robot to shoot string outwards, and we could show you pictures after as well if you want to see. Yeah, basically like a web shooter all over the field.
Mini Spider-Man.
That was our competition.
Thank you.
Any questions? Sure.
What they didn't tell you was that they also have to do an engineering notebook, which is a big bulk of their score, do an engineering interview and a programming interview with actual industry engineers, which, by the way, a couple of them were from Douglas, Arizona, that were the industrial engineers that were the judges. So
Can they make a robot to clean houses?
that's the future. That's the goal. Okay, and then in our drafting chapter, we have Swan Galvez. It's going to talk about that with Sebastian Salas.
I'm kind of short. Good afternoon. My name is Swan Galvez,
I'm Sebastian Salas.
and we competed this year in technical drafting. There's a lot of types of drafting. The main two are technical, mechanical, and architectural. We competed in technical. I competed last year. This is his first year competing. So basically, we have computers. We are in a room apart from everyone else, and they give us a design that we need to recreate in 3D in the computer. Last year, my computer broke down. This year, it was his computer. So this year, we had to do a machine that stamps things. It's very difficult, and we almost cried, but it's fine. Unfortunately, just first place goes to nationals, so we don't get to go. But we had fun, sort of. And yes, we do technical drafting. Any questions? No?
We won't make you cry.
Okay. Thank you.
You could tell that when we do presentations, the last thing they're supposed to do is ask if there's any questions, right?
Yeah.
So we also have a lot of other people that placed to the top 10. Like they said, only the first place in SkillsUSA gets to go to nationals. But we had additive manufacturing. For those of you that don't know what that is 3D printing. And we had Sergio Cordova and Anthony Palacios placed 9th. Where are you guys at? Oh, only Anthony's here. And then, of course, Ezequiel Ovando actually placed 5th. He had a clothing change. And then we had another team in robotics and automation technology place 5th. They were there in the corner. And then mobile robotics, we had a team place 6th. Juan and Ezekiel, where are you guys? They're not here. And then extemporaneous speech, Katrina Altamirano placed 6th. Right there. Okay. And then this year, we also had a pleasure of having a state officer elected. And I'm going to let Christopher Duarte talk about that for a second.
Hello, my name is Christopher Duarte. As Ms. Barallardo said, I am SkillsUSA Arizona's, one of SkillsUSA Arizona's state officer. It mainly started out with Barallardo's encouraging me to run. Last year, I got the opportunity to go to state, and I got to see the whole process, and I got to see the state officers from that year campaign, and I felt really inspired to do so. So this year, with a lot of help from Ms. Barallardo's, I ran for the position. It started with me filling out questions and writing some short essays in which SkillsUSA Arizona picked the top 24 answers to move on. And then I moved on to the interview portion as well as the basic knowledge test for SkillsUSA, which they picked the top 14, which I also advanced in. And then at state, 14 of us got to campaign, and the top 7 of us with the most votes are state officers now. Mainly, what this means is I'm representing Arizona at the national level. I get to go to national conference as well as another event SkillsUSA has at Washington, D.C., in which, yeah, and yeah, any questions? Thank you.
Good job.
See, with Chris, you don't miss. That was his slogan. And our conference is in Atlanta in June. And so we're going to be competing in Models of Excellence. So Elijah Barreros and Leighton Angulo will be representing us for Models of Excellence. Robotics and Automation Technologies, Fernando and Esteban. Mobile Robotics, Moses and Daniel. And then I'll be interviewing for the National Advisor of the Year. And then, of course, Christopher Duarte will be going as the Arizona State Officer. So we did a lot. We got a lot done, and we're really proud to represent Douglas and bring all these awards back for everyone.
Does the district pay for the travel? District pay for the travel?
No, they're CTA.
You guys have to pay your own travel?
No, CTE.
That, like, the gentleman, the young man there just said that he's going to do some
to
traveling to
Washington?
Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, the state Arizona
Oh, the state does.
SkillsUSA
Oh.
pays for his travel. So, yeah, yeah, we don't have to pay for that, but.
Well, again, you know, I'm going to be redundant, but again, you guys are great. You're wonderful. You know, you make such a good presentation. You look wonderful, and you've all obviously got a lot of talent, and we're really proud of you. You're what we're all about here. And Andrea, the accolades just keep coming to you, right? I mean, you just can't can't stop it. Did you ever think about coaching football, basketball, or baseball?
We're hiring.
Very successful in everything she does, you know, obviously, right? Right. So.
Yeah, she's had a fantastic year, and I think behind every good student is a great teacher. And she's had an excellent year. She is our Cochise County Teacher of the Year, and she's representing Cochise County, state level as an advisor, and hopefully at the national level. So.
One more quick question. The young lady that did the drafting, is this something that you would pursue later? I mean, is it something that gave you an incentive to go on and do something like that, like mechanical engineering or anything like that, or?
Well, unfortunately, there's no career for actual 3D modeling, so I was looking into some careers because I'm graduating this year. And I thought about doing industrial engineering, but I'm thinking of just sticking to architecture. So.
Okay, so you guys, you think it's an incentive what you do here? That a lot of you are going to go on and do things. That's great. That's a great program. Great program. Members of the board.
I just wanted to say, as many years as I've been here, it makes me feel very proud, and saying that it's been worth the time to be here, to be able to see you perform and to accomplish so high honors. And it makes it very, very, from the bottom of my heart, I'm telling you, I'm really proud of all of you. Thank you. It's been worth my time that I've been here.
So wear your blue and your red jackets proudly.
Members of the board, any other comments?
I just want to say, Mr. President, again, that, you know, our community has been blessed with very high-achieving students and supportive parents, and, you know, we are all proud. Thank you.
Jana?
I'm very proud of all of you, and you're just the right example of what Douglas High School has to offer. I mean, our students are tremendous, and you're a shining example of that. Thank you for all the time you put into this. I'm very proud of you.
Mr. Smith, any comments?
It's hard to expound on what the board has already mentioned, but without a doubt, you guys are excelling in what you do, and hopefully, I hope you enjoy it and continue to do it for many years, either in careers or even if it's on your own. So.
Thank you. Andrea, again, thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, my students actually a few years ago, so I'm going to, of course, Martha has always been my example. We went to, before COVID, we went to a SkillsUSA competition. We went to the award ceremony and we got, 0 awards. And my students said, hey, we can do that. And I said, you know what, you're right, we can do that. So let's start. And so the next year we started and they were ready to go to nationals and COVID hit. And then once we came back, we just kept that momentum. And so it's because of these kids that we're so successful, because they want to be successful. I just help keep pushing them. I'm just their motivator. So all of them.
Great, thank you. Could we take a quick look at that trophy? Why don't you come up first and just kind of show it?
I had to allow him to put it down, poor guy.
And just take a quick look at it.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a traveling trophy, so we only get to keep it 1 year, and we gotta, like the pick, but we'll just try to win it again next year.
And I purposely made them go second because we can't beat the eagle in the room.
Take a lot of pictures. Wow.
Is that the one that they just put the annual winner with a little plaque on there and it's distributed? Oh, okay, good. You don't keep it.
We don't, but we will keep it, you know?
Oh, yeah, right.
There's lots of room for our name. Now you need to carry that for the next 2 hours of the board meeting. Standing.
And they don't tell you, but it comes in a huge box, it's like an arc, and they gave it to us there, and the convention center is like a little bit of a walk to the hotel. So my students are trying to hold this huge box, carrying it back to the hotel. All right, let's take a picture. Come on.
Take a picture.
The whole board meeting already. Sorry, thank you everyone for bearing with us.
So have the trophy come forward a little bit, and some of you need to squat.
That's okay.
Build the lactic acid. Build the lactic acid.
There's some.
Here, get one.
I'm sure I don't have.
Oh, sorry. Their legs are shaking.
Okay, call to the public. We have the first individual that wants to address the board is Isabella Smith.
Good evening, members of the board. I just wanted to say thank you to Superintendent Samaniego for purchasing our T-shirts this year so that we could actually keep them, and we're wearing them tonight. In years past, we haven't had uniform T-shirts to wear, and I can't thank you enough for not only purchasing them, but also attending our Tim Brown tournament this year. We noticed, and on behalf of the entire wrestling team, thank you, and we appreciate the support. We hope to see a lot more support in the future, and to show our appreciation, we have a gift for you. So thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. I didn't do anything extra special. You guys needed uniforms, and so thank you very much. And we're gonna miss you. Thank you. Are you graduating too?
Next year.
Next year. Okay. Thank you.
I will send it to someone.
What about Mr. Smith? We have a member, DEA member request to speak is Marta Alonso.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Ms. Samaniego, and members of administration. As I said, you're going to hear a lot from me this afternoon, so I am now speaking to you wearing my DA president hat. Over the last few years, DA and our leadership team have strived to reach employees at DUSD because we want to hear everybody's story. Well, we come to you today with concerns of equality. But we needed members from the classified sector because we really didn't know what their stories were. So last month we requested permission from Ms. Samaniego and Ms. Cox to go out into various departments and talk to people, and so they granted us that permission. And DA sent out, AEA sent us experts from the Phoenix area, and our AEA representative, Paula, who is here tonight, came out with us. And in the past 2 years, Ms. Kimball from our AEA, Paula from our AEA team, and the representatives from Phoenix went out to talk to members of the DUSD employees. And now DA has gained 47 members in just 2 days. But more than anything, we gained countless stories about what are they facing in their positions. So tonight, I come before you to ask you to consider the most overwhelming concern that classified employees at DUSD had. And their comment overall was, we are not valued the same as teachers. So classified has suffered the same salary compressions that certified has, and DUSD did identify this and proposed a solution which you as the board passed. That was to give every classified employee 10 cents per year that they have worked for the district to decompress and make sure that new employees are not making the same as loyal employees at the district. However, the program is being rolled out over 4 years. That means that they are receiving 2.5 cents a year. This is one of the reasons they felt unvalued. Certified staff was not asked to wait. We received our decompression at once. Today, we ask you to consider collapsing the rollout to classified employees and paying it out in 1 year instead of making them wait. And I think this would go a very long way to show them how much you value their work. Thank you.
How many classified employees do you have as members in your membership?
Well, after today, we have 50, so we gained most of them, 60. Our AA representative is telling us we have 60. And so one of the reasons we had such a hard time reaching them is they don't do email, and we do a lot of email to get our members and to get them. And last year we went out to the softball tournament that we had, and we were able to reach a lot of the teachers, but again, classified, we're not very well attended, and so we do have a difficulty getting to them. So being able to take 2 days and go out to their sites and talk to them in person, we heard so many stories, we heard so much from them, and they felt so seen. And one of the things that we heard from them as well was, we thought it was only for teachers. We thought you didn't care about us. And so we felt really bad on our part that we hadn't made that effort before to try to really reach them and let them know that we're here for them as well, and that we're willing to represent them just like we do with the teachers. And so that was something that we recognized in our lack of reaching out to them, and that's why we requested the time to go out and do this. And Ms. Kimball and I took our personal day today so that we could go out to each of the sites and really have those conversations, and we found that they really appreciated it, that they really felt seen today with us being able to go to their site and saying, you know, we're here for you as well.
Do they pay the same amount of membership that these?
They do not. So the way that membership is calculated, the Arizona Educators Association takes the average salary of a teacher, and they charge us 10% of that. And so then for classified is 50% of that amount. And then it depends if they are full-time or part-time. If they are part-time, it is decreased in amount as well, so that it can be affordable to them. And we did talk a lot to them about other benefits, because we're not just here to provide a benefit of, if you get in trouble, we're here, which is what people think. Our membership actually carries discounts on all sorts of things that they had no idea. One of the big ones was 20% off on your cell phone bill in certain companies, and so things that they never considered, and that would actually pay for their membership if they had that discount on something. And so they were very shocked to hear that we're not just here to, you know, to support you if you get in trouble. We actually have a lot of other benefits that we can provide. And we also spoke to them about money's not everything. Sometimes, you know, if we can get you a T-shirt for the team, it's going to mean more than you giving, a raise. And so we have a lot of requests from them and different concerns, and hopefully next year we'll come back with a much stronger union and more ideas of how to value all of our employees. And we are very thankful to both administration that meet with us every month and this board. One of the last things that was passed was the loyalty pay, and we were able to identify Douglas employees as a whole. And they didn't know very well, and we've talked about this, Denise and Samaniego and Soto, that we haven't really done a really good job of letting them know what we're doing as a district. And so the loyalty pay was for everybody, and everybody got the same amount, and it was all of us are employees, not you're classified or certified. And I think we need to do more of that to show that we value all of them as employees, not just certain pockets.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Was the administration aware of that survey that they did with the classified? she's
That they,
talking
that
about?
they were meeting with employees to?
No,
we didn't.
were you
They didn't do
aware
a
of the?
survey.
We didn't do a survey.
They didn't do a
We just
survey.
went and shook their hands and said, hi, this is on their break time, on their lunch time. So we
okay.
went and talked to them. It wasn't
All right.
an actual survey. It was
Because
just,
if there was a formal survey, then of course they make it available to
yeah,
the
no,
administration.
we did it very informally, just talked to them on their breaks and their lunches.
Thank you, Martha.
Thank you.
All right. Item 2, consent agenda items. 2A, approval of the following consent agenda items, payroll and expense vouchers 1, 2, and 3. Can I get a motion to get that on the floor?
I move to approve the consent agenda items.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion regarding the vouchers? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Brain?
Yes, item 3A, discussion, information on the Principal Leadership Academy, Arizona. Ms. Samaniego.
Yes, board members, if you remember, I brought to you for board approval an investment on our part to send aspiring principals to the Arizona Aspiring Principals Academy. And the board approved these, I think it was 8 teachers that attended. And so they all graduated, like I explained to you at our last board meeting. So I think it's important for the board to know what they learned. It was an investment on our part, but it was also a personal investment on time, money, resources for them, because the board only paid for the registration fee of $500 per staff member, but they traveled on Saturdays, left and drove at 3:30 in the morning all the way to Phoenix, completed their hours on Saturdays and drove home. They carpooled together, they paid for their meals, and had husbands and family drive them when it was possible because they worked a full week. And so I think it's important for them to at least give you a brief synopsis of what the academy did for them and what they learned. So here with us today are Maria Trinta, Noemi Escalante, Suizen Pineda, Shaylin Fredericks, and Martha Alonso. And they're going to keep it short, sweet.
Yes. It's hard to follow with cute kids.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Ms. Samaniego, and the administration. Again, you're going to be tired of me. So we do have a short presentation, and these are the members that were paid by the district. So there were 6 of us that attended this year's PLA, and as Ms. Samaniego said, it was weekends. It was one Saturday every month. On top of that, we were invited. We were each given a mentor, whether it was in our area of specialties like elementary, middle school, or high school. We had a day to go shadow them at their school and see what their school looked like. And then we were all invited to participate in the Arizona A+ judging. And so that was a 2-day event that we went to these schools and helped with the judging of their A+ awards. So it was more than just one Saturday, and we were able to see some amazing schools, but we also saw some things that schools were doing wrong and that we want to stay away from. So it was not just positives, but also some negatives that we said, well, we do better than that. So we were very lucky. Oh.
Still hurts.
Yes, sorry. All right, so 6 fabulous DUSD teachers attended these monthly seminars. We partnered with Vail, Phoenix, and Tucson schools and took part in the A+ school certification process.
And then, so we broke this down into by month so that we could all share the pain. I mean, the glory, the fun. We're sharing the fun. So our first session, we met in Casa Grande, and the Teresa Hill, or Dr. Hill, is amazing. So if you ever get a chance to meet her, Foundation of Arizona Education, PLAA, definitely we need to get her to come down more. She went over the session expectations. She explained how we were going to do our principal mentorship, job shadowing. We also did practice interviews with our principals. The A+ School of Excellence school visits were amazing, like Martha already said. We did discovery novel projects, and we also created individual development plans for those of us who are planning to go into administration in some way. Short and sweet, short and sweet.
Good evening. In October, we...
Wait, excuse me, your name
Oh,
and what school,
Shaylin,
please?
I'm sorry, Shaylin, Douglas High School.
Good evening. Maria Trinta from Douglas High School as well. In October, we worked with paraprofessionals, how we want to empower these paraprofessionals who are coming to our district, how we prepare them, as well how trainings and what trainings we want to give them before they start. We are so used to the on-the-job training that we're not taking care of these parapros that are coming new to the district, and that's why we're losing that many. Other stuff that we were talking about was negative to positive. We want to invert that. We talk to parents about what negative stuff is happening in school. We want to talk more about what is a positive in our schools.
Good evening. My name is Noemi Escalante, and in November we went to Phoenix and we talked about retention tips, strategies to keep our staff, hiring and interviews, professional development not only for the teachers but for all the staff, for everyone in our schools.
All right, so I need the picture because there we go. Because some of you are in the picture. So in December, we talked about public relations and how important it is for us to have someone in our district that is. That's why I needed the slide.
I like that program.
Why it's so important for us to have someone in the district that is in charge of our public relations and how we look to the outside world. So I do have 2 on there. One very positive of Mr. Brain and our mayor talking about the expansion. But unfortunately, if you recall, we actually also had students walk out of class and it was all over the news, and we had all the newscasts here. And so sometimes it's positive, but sometimes it's negative. And it's important to have someone specific that deals with the negative media, but also helps us to do better with our positive view of our schools. And that's also establishing strategies and training our employees about social media. Social media is becoming one of the most terrible things for employers, and also how to respond to media if you ever get questioned.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Faison Pineda. I'm a 5th grade teacher at Clawson Elementary School. And in January, we went to Flowing Wells, and we did student discipline, and they were teaching us about PBIS, which we got a training here at DUSD, and we were able to see how a school functioned using PBIS and how they use a multi-tiered approach at their school so that they can deal with behavior there. And in this meeting, we also went over legislation bills.
They all wanted me to talk about legislation because this was a Zoom meeting, and I think I was the only one awake. It was difficult for my peers to listen to legislation, but I was already involved. We were looking at the expenditure cap. I had questions for them about it. And really, this meeting was about you have to pay attention to legislation. They rule your job, and so if you're not paying attention, bills get passed. They affect you. They affect your students. They affect your parents, and just how important it is for us to know what's going on in legislation. And this day, we also practiced our mock interviews with our mentors.
in March, we went to Phoenix, and here we did a couple of things. They taught us how to combat employee absence and how we can revert that so that employees stay in the district. So they gave us some wonderful ideas, and they also gave us reasons why employees are leaving and how we can change that and how we can keep employees. Another highlight of that meeting was creating a thriving school community and how we can have a safe school environment, not just with students but also with staff, so that staff stays. And we also went over community partnerships and how we can get partnerships with the community and how the community can be more involved. And we went over budgeting, and we had scenarios as well, how we can use our budget. And the last one we did was our novel projects, which Mrs. Calante is going to talk about.
Okay. There you go. So we were given a list of books for principals with strategies a list of books. And from that list of books, we were able to pick a book. So we decided what book to pick just based on the outline, the title. We read a little bit of the SERP, and that's how we decided what book we were going to get. We read the book, and after we read the book, we had to write a report about the book and then share it with the whole class. So we have that available to us if we need to go back and reread. Anything else? That one is, all of those pictures are like the reports. Our homework. We had homework.
April, one more. There you go. Oh, sorry. Forgot I was doing this. So in April, our last meeting, we went over how to teach bias to students and to staff, and alternative ways to teach anti-racism, especially in today's classroom. And then the highlight, of course, was the graduation. We all got a peacock feather and some kind of certificate. And we took lots of pictures, as you can see, lots of pictures. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful end to a very long year program. Okay.
Some of the recommendations we have for DUSD are providing ESS instructional aid training before the school year starts, new teacher training for CPI before start in the school, because we are struggling a lot with mental health, and we want to prevent any event to happen in our classrooms with teachers who are not prepared. Substitute teacher training and expectations, partnership with college or university for administrative, we're doing that, master's degree, growing your own administrators, PTSO, school newsletters, and parent communication in addition to Facebook and Instagram, admin mentoring and visits to other schools whenever is possible. Thank you very much for this opportunity for us.
But stay up there just for a minute. Are you done?
We have one more slide.
Oh, go ahead.
And this is actually the thank you. So on behalf of everyone who took part in the program, we have one person's missing, but we want to thank you for supporting us, not just financially, but giving us the time when we asked to go to our A+. You gave us those days off. You offered vehicles if we were going to fill out the paperwork, which we never did, never, ever. But definitely we were able to go see just how important administrators are to schools. It's not just us versus them, that we're all together in this. And I have to give Ms. Samaniego huge props. We said that there was a need for a Grow Your Own program, and then before we even got through the slides, she already had that in place. And the 4 people standing next to me all applied to the program and were interviewed and were accepted. So I want to say awesome job on that. And then, by the way, one of us, me, I'm applying for that Dean of Students job. So because of PLAA, you've encouraged all of us to take that next step into administration or something like administration, okay? And then we traveled hundreds of miles. I don't know if you can zoom in on that bottom picture, but we learned more about how schools run. We learned about laws and discipline. We learned about each other. And as you can kind of see, we got more pictures as we went because we became friends through this opportunity. And if we can keep our new administrators in the PLAA program, they actually marketed it for first-year principals. Huge network, guys. So I would recommend we still stay in touch with Ms. Hill or Dr. Hill. And thank you again to all of you. for
Well,
letting us
stay
know.
up there a minute. Members of the board, any questions or comments?
I just want to thank that we were saying that this is a wonderful opportunity, and I won't go into my history, but I travel a lot too doing my master's degrees. I have 2. So, you can catch up to me if you want. Thank you.
One is good.
Mr. Ramos, any questions or comments? We're going to address an item later on the agenda regarding a similar type program, but personally, I'd like to know, you didn't get any credits at all towards any certification, did you?
85 professional development hours. That help 84? Oh.
But you got professional development in the
Which
district.
will help us recert when we get our degrees, or our teaching certificate renewals.
And I know the board was concerned about the value of the program, and I can tell you that the hours to recertify or any type of recognition that we could have gotten is nothing compared to the experiences that we had. And seeing that we were the only group that were teachers, most other districts sent their administrators, their actual administrators to the program, and they learned there about some of the other things that schools are doing and opportunities that they might be missing for their schools. So if it's not for recertification or if it's not for growing a program, the value of it is that your principals would get to see other amazing schools and see schools that are not doing a good job, like was my experience. My school did not get awarded A+ because there was a lot of issues at that school. And it gives them a perspective that I think all of our administrators would do good with.
Now, I know the incentive was for you to apply for a supervisory administrative type quasi-administrative position. What kind of certification? My interest is always really the professional development and benefits of what you did, because you spent a lot of time doing it. It looks like it was a great program, but in the eyes of the district, are they any closer? I guess my question is, did they get any type, other than what they consider professional development, did they get any type of a credit towards any type of a certification with the state board,
No.
state board rules?
So not towards a certificate of any kind, because this just provided credit hours towards continuing education. That's what it was, and that's how they presented it. That's what I brought to the board. So it didn't give them any more towards, if some of them were already working on a master's program, let's say, they may have been able to use some of these credit hours depending on the university. This was partnered with GCU, and so those credit hours or recertification hours can be utilized that way. So the answer is towards a certificate by the state board? No. Towards something that they could have added to their master's? Possibly, yes.
Is it something that you people know that the district, and we're going to address it later on the agenda, the program where it's more than aspiring principals, it's going to be an actual, were any of you interested in that?
They applied.
The 4.
All of you?
The 4.
Oh, 4.
And I want to be at HOSA.
Okay, no, board members, that's good to know. I mean, especially in this day and age with certification being watered down as much as it is at the state level, that we know, and the district is fully aware of who and what their capacity and capabilities are, so that when administrative jobs do come open in the district, in my opinion, you already know who you've got.
Yes.
And so those kinds of programs, we're going to talk about that other one in a minute. So anyway, congratulations. Thank you very much. Board members, do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
it's a shame they spent a lot of time and didn't get any type of credit towards any
Yes,
certification.
because this program is for aspiring principals and also serves as professional development for first, second-year principals within our schools already in Arizona. So that's why it focuses on professional development, experience and learning, more so than a master's program per se.
Did you
Because
think-
you don't learn these things, I will guarantee you, you don't learn as much in a master's program as the on-job site training that they got.
Right.
Well, I was just thinking it would also let you know whether or not this
Yes.
is really what you wanted
Want
to
to
go
do.
into.
Mhm.
Instead of going through all of those
Yes.
classes and
Yes.
time and then saying, yuck.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That portion that you did regarding budgeting,
Yes.
and you got pretty involved, how do you think that our business department does here, our budget?
So they will be meeting with me. They will be meeting with Mr. Soto to talk about classified decompression.
Thank you very much again for that presentation. Item 3B, discussion information on the sale of early learning center building at Chiricahua Community Health Centers Incorporated. Ms. Samaniego.
Yes. This item is just for information purposes. I wanted to inform the board, both Mr. Soto and I, that if you're not aware, quite some time ago, under former administration and governing board, there was a lease agreement that was in place with our local Chiricahua centers and the ELC, lease of the ELC building. That's the A Avenue School on 15th. So they entered into an agreement to lease the facility, and they would make renovations and convert it into a clinic. They pay us a monthly rental fee for the lease agreement, and that lease agreement is about to expire. We met with the administration from Chiricahua, and under the terms and guidelines and language of that agreement, it was set forth that the lease could be turned into a sale agreement. And all of that language is in place. It was reviewed by attorneys. And so here we are, almost 10 years?
Yeah, close to 10
Close
years.
to 10 years, concluding the lease. And the conversations now have began into, let's buy this property from you. What does that mean? It means we will, if the board makes this decision, sell it for the market value of what it was assessed at that time of the agreement. So let's say 10 years ago, which is
1.1 million.
$1.1 million. If we decide not to sell it, the language in the agreement stipulates and says that we have to refund the amount that they invested into renovation fees, and that amount is
4.1 million.
$4.1 million. And so the ELC building, for me, it's very dear to my heart. I mean, my kids went to preschool there. It's one of our buildings. When that happened, we lost a lot of kids to the charter schools that couldn't go there, but here we are. And so at this point, there's no action, no decision to make, but we need to inform you that those conversations are already starting. And when you look at the amounts, is the board going to decide to pay back the $4.2 million that they invested and keep the building, or do we sell it for the $1.2 million that it was set forth in the agreement? And I don't know if Mr. Soto or the board has any
Well,
questions
no,
at this
that
point.
Mr. Soto,
Yeah, because he
you wanna
was
talk
part of
about-
this, he was part of this agreement.
Yeah, this whole agreement started again back in 2015 with previous administration, and then there was a couple amendments done when another administration came, and that's when the final draft was approved with that language of the rent. So we're collecting rent from them, and
How much do we get?
we get $12,750 a month from them as rent. But then again, like Mrs. Samaniego said, the agreement stipulates that the 10 years is about to expire, and the board or the district has to make a decision on what's the next step. Chiricahua, as you know, I mean, they they've been there for all this time, and they provide a service to the community. And also a little bit of history. If you remember the 15th Street clinic there, it was also a DUSD property that Chiricahua got. I don't have the specifics on how that went, but there's a lot of things that we have to start looking into, especially with hearings for the community and all that happened back then too, when that.
You mean for the process of
for
the
the
sale?
process of the sale, correct. So again, the document is there, the lease is in place, and that's one of the main thing is that if the USD decides not to sell to them, then we have to reimburse all that investment they did of the $4.2 million. And again, the appraisal done in 2015 says that the building value is $1.1 million, and that will be the sale amount if the USD decides to go that route. I don't know if you have a specific question, or again, there's no decision. It's just.
I just wanted to ask, Cesar, and that was the value of the building 10 years ago. But what's the value of the building now?
Well, with those 4.2 million renovations is a lot more than that. So that's why the agreement says we're going to do a value of what it is right now instead of after we do all these renovations. We have no idea, and it's not part of the agreement saying they're going to pay us whatever the value of that building is now, because again, with all that investment they have done, then the value of that building is a lot more.
The reason that I wanted the administration to put it on the agenda is so that the board could be thinking about it. But that when that agreement was written 10 years ago, it was a no-win situation for the district. Obviously, you're seeing the fruits of it now. We want that building back. We pay $4 million. To me, it was a huge mistake when the district let that building go. That was when there was a decline in enrollment, and there wasn't much. I don't think there was much forethought, but I'm not going to get in that because I've been around this district since Horace Mann and I went to school here in first grade. But anyway, the sale of that building created the charter school that's on 15th Street and F Avenue. That's when that building, that school flourished when they closed that school. They took all most of the kids from that neighborhood. And then, of course, we have to consider the foreign aspect of the foreign programs that we have there as well. And I'm trying to be subtle about that. But anyway, what we need to do is we need to decide because it's expiring now, and we need to address it. So it's a very simple question. We want to buy it back. It's going to cost us $4 million. We let them keep it. It's one. And you're talking about, the appreciation of that was never even considered. I really don't want to get into that because I do that too loosely sometimes. But regardless of what it was or what it is, that's what we're confronted with today. So members of the board, just be thinking about what you want to do. I'll put it on the agenda again for
June?
When is the
Well, we can put it in June or the special board meeting. But I don't know that you want more, if you want more time.
Is there a representative from Chiricahua?
No, they're not here, but we can have them here for June. I
Well,
think it would be appropriate in June. They need about a year or not, or so to start also the process. And so there's a lot of things that have to go into place that have to happen on our end in order for the sale to happen. So we need about a year.
Well, actually, they don't need to be here because
No.
that agreement was written entirely in their favor. I mean, knowing what was going to happen, they knew there was going to have to be a major investment. So anyway, we will look at it again. It's really kind of we're locked into it, and I really don't see any alternative, to be honest with you, unless we've come up with $4 million, and then we think, what's happening with attendance and whether we could recoup some of the the students from that area and maybe more, who knows? So anyway, just to be thinking about it, there's no action tonight. It was just for discussion. Members of the board, do you have any questions or comments regarding it? Go ahead, Jana.
Well, with the renovations that Chair Calvo put into it, if we did purchase it back, how much would it cost us to turn it into an educational facility? I mean,
My thought would be, if we did get it back, is to, this building here is suffering from all of the ailments of old age, and it would be the way they renovated that building over there. You know, if we wanted to build, we could float a bond, right? But the other alternative would be, and we were going to discuss that at the next meeting after you thought about it, is that if we did repurchase that building, it could be the administrative building, because it is very, very modern in there now. And I mean, it could house the total administration and more. So anyway, that's just for the board to be thinking about. It's going to be a major decision, okay? Did you want to add anything to
No,
that?
at this point, no. So we'll put it on the June meeting.
All right. Item C, discussion information on the new 2023-24 bell schedule for Douglas High School. Ms. Samaniego.
And this is for information purposes only. I've already reviewed and approved. There are really no major changes in the schedule. It's just wanted to inform you in case you are asked, hey, why are kids at the high school starting at 8:15, for example, as opposed to 8 o'clock? So, Mrs. Rodriguez? And Mrs. Hernandez, who worked a lot on this master schedule.
So, good evening. It's been a very eventful board meeting so far. So, good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, and district administration. So, just like Mrs. Samaniego said, this is just for your information. So, we'll go ahead and go on. So, as you know, earlier this year, we approved a 22 credit graduation requirement. So that's just there for your information. No change with that. So our current bell schedule, if you move on to the next slide. So the current bell schedule was to accommodate a 24 credit requirement. So students had 7 periods, and we started school at 8 o'clock and ended at 2:45. That was the bell schedule. So based on this instructional time model, there was 350 minutes per day, and 140 hours and 140 and a half hours per class per year. Okay, so we're proposing to move to a 6-period schedule. So actually, we're increasing the minutes per day and also the number of hours per class per year. So our proposal is to have an 8:15 start time. We feel that maybe we need to stagger the start time from the elementary and middle schools, more so because of our close proximity to Joe Carlson. The traffic is terrible at morning time. So we figure if we had a little later start, then we would be able to have traffic run smoothly there in the morning time. So that will lend itself to have tutorial time in the morning. This would change nothing in terms of the teacher's contracted time. So they would still be expected to be there at 7:30, but now would allow for 45 minutes of tutorial time in the morning if students needed that. So the biggest change here is now we move into 60-minute classes versus 50-minute classes, so class times increased by 10 minutes. Moving on, so currently I know a lot of times when we are moving from 7 periods to 6 periods, the concern is class sizes. You know, we don't want to overcrowd classrooms, but if you notice, there is a very small change between class sizes. So the first column represents our current class size average, and in our core areas, English, math, science, and social studies. And if you notice, they're still all well below 30 with the new Bell schedule. Any questions so far?
Where's the board? Janet?
Have you,
Ms. Salcho?
have you crunched your numbers to see about how many more minutes you'll have as teaching time or educational academic time in your classrooms?
So it's 10 additional minutes per class. And so the slide before, so we're going from the old Bell schedule, we had 350 minutes per day, and we're increasing it to 360 minutes per day.
Okay, but in over a whole year.
It's 171 hours compared to this year is 140 hours. Okay?
31 hours.
So we did survey the staff to see how they felt about the new proposed start time. So if you see there, it's pretty unanimous that 71% of our staff agreed with an 8:15 start time versus a 7:45 start time. Many of our students, they are the transportation for their younger siblings. So we do have a big tardy issue in the morning, and a lot of the kids say it's because they have to take their siblings to school in the morning. So at least this will allow them an extra 15 minutes to be able to drop off their their siblings at 8 o'clock, and then still have time to get to school on time. Okay, so we did have staff input. And please don't get me wrong, it's not just Mrs. Hernandez and I. Our department chairs played a huge role. They took it back to their departments. It took some time to finalize this. We had different proposals on the table in terms of what the 6-period schedule could look like. So it wasn't just something that we as administrators decided. So just very quickly, these are the sample class schedules in terms of what students are required to take per grade level. So freshmen, of course, have to take English, Algebra 1, Biology, and PE Integrated Health. Sophomores take English, Geometry, World History, Science. Juniors take English, Algebra 2, U.S. Arizona History, Science, and seniors, of course, take English, their choice of the 4th year level math, and government and economics. So here are some of the benefits to the new schedule. So like we mentioned before, more instructional time per period. So we're adding an extra 10 minutes per class period. We now will be able to offer morning and afternoon tutorial time. And what we've done for the new master schedule for next year, we've embedded more credit recovery than just our DPAS program. So now we have actual embedded credit recovery in our core classes with the classroom teachers. And it really decreases academic pressure for our students from now focusing on 6 classes versus 7. That we know from the pandemic to now has been a struggle for kids. During COVID time, they got really lax, and technology's great, but there's nothing like in-person learning. And so we've conducted all our pre-registrations as well, as including our 8th grade students that are incoming freshmen. And so now we have a more student-focused class schedule because students have choice, and they're able to choose the classes that they feel will meet their graduation requirements. And hopefully this will decrease the number of free periods for our students as well. Any questions?
Mrs. Rodriguez, I have a
Mr.
quick
Lindman.
question. Thank you. This won't adversely affect the after-school sports practices because I don't think it's that big of a change.
No, so kids will be out at 3:10, I believe, 3:05.
I thought it said 3:30.
No, that's tutorial time.
Oh, okay.
So class ends at 3:05. So then tutorial time is 3:05 to 3:30. Just to let you know, we honor tutorial time at DHS, so athletics sports practices don't start until 4 o'clock.
Oh, okay. And then I don't suppose this would adversely affect North Central accreditation or anything?
No, we are still meeting the credit requirements, and we follow the state requirements, and the state requirements are 22 credits. And we haven't made any changes to our course catalog or any changes to the curriculum. And those are huge factors for accreditation.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Salcho?
I really like the morning tutorial because for those students who are active after school and in our different programs, sports, a lot of them will bypass going to tutorial
After school.
if they want to go to practice. I mean, there's that. So I really like that morning tutorial.
Yeah, so that was the intention for that morning tutorial time, and plus it'll also give our clubs that morning time also to have their club meetings as well.
And one more thing is I like the additional minutes that you're putting back into the class.
And in many of our, especially CT in science, because of the labs that are required, they've been asking for some time now to have additional time built into the schedule. So at least this is a start for that as well.
Bianca, let me ask you, the debate has gone on and off for years and years, not only at the elementary, secondary level, but also at the college level over the years. I know that it was addressed by the regents a few years ago, even when I was around at that, doing those kinds of things, about the length of a class. And depending on who you talk to or who the teacher is or who the administrator in the building is, adding 10 minutes, and if those 10 minutes are strategically and going to be appropriately addressed for all of the time that's given, or does that just make the class longer and then stopping the instruction sooner? Or does, there used to be the argument way back in the old days about making the classes shorter. And that way, it kind of psychologically made the instructions speed it up a little bit. And, we got a lot to cover. We only got so many minutes. And that you got a full volume of instruction. So knowing what you know and what Melissa knows now at the high school level, is that added 10 minutes going to be actually beneficial, or is it going to be a little bit longer and then we stop sooner? I mean, just to address that, I think you got the drift.
Right. So as a classroom teacher, I would say that no matter what length of time the class periods are, it all boils down to instruction and planning and preparation from the teacher. You could have short classes or long classes. It's about the time and the preparation. But I would say that what we're looking at for next year is kind of the best of both worlds, because when we went from being, the block schedule or the modified block schedule to being a full traditional day, it was always that seventh period that was the issue or the concern. There's not very many, we haven't seen very many high schools across the state and across the country that have a 7-period day. So by decreasing the number of classes, the students and the teachers are focused on and preparing for and planning for, but allowing them a greater amount of time to provide instruction and quality instruction, I think is the best of both worlds. So to address the idea of the instruction and whether the instruction is going to last, I think I can speak for many of the teachers here. When we transitioned to the 7-period, 50-minute, going from the longer, we keep running out of time. It's, if I just had 10 more minutes, if I just had 5 more minutes. And so I think that the 10 minutes itself is going to provide that, but also decreasing the number of courses or classes that the students are trying to focus on, homework, everything else, is a win-win situation for our students and for our staff. Teachers are going to be planning and preparing for 5 sections instead of 6. Students are going to be focusing on 6 or 5 if they're a senior who's on track for graduation. So it's a win-win. But as for the classroom environment, that's where we as teachers have to do our job and our due diligence, and we have to make sure that we plan a lesson and a classroom environment that utilizes those 60 minutes.
Okay, great, thanks. That's a good answer. Melissa, go ahead.
And that will be
So-
the administration will have to be more visible
Yes,
in
so
the classrooms.
obviously, that'll something that we monitor as administrators of the school to make sure that the time is being utilized correctly. And not just during class time, but like we embedded that tutorial time before school as well. We need to make sure that that is also utilized as well. We will just have to monitor and see how it works, and we can always give you guys updates as needed throughout the school year.
Good. Members of the board, any other questions or comments? Go ahead, Melissa. Are you done?
That's it.
Oh,
That
that's
was
it?
the last one,
Oh,
yep.
okay, so that was for information only. Again, thank both of you guys. And that will be something that the administration will be monitoring and so on. Good, and that'll be for next year?
Yes.
And so you're going to have to schedule it that way, right? So I'm sure you're already into
Yes,
it,
as
right?
kids register over the summer, they're going to be registering for this schedule.
And that's the other thing too, is it was great timing. We knew we were doing a build this year, so it allowed us to do a schedule build from the very, ground level up in a new structured environment. The last time Douglas High School schedule was built was 2004. And we've had several schedule changes, period increases, from traditional or from block to traditional, a lot of things going on. So the timing was perfect for us to be able to let the schedule do its part and let Power School do its job of building our schedule.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And I just got a note here from Alma, it says to speed things up, the Warriors and the Lakers are playing.
Yes.
Okay. We've got a couple more that are going to get into detail, but we'll try to do the best we can. Item D, discussion action on approval of certified hires for school year 2023-24. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, 3 teachers.
Okay, get a motion to get it on the
I
floor.
move to approve the certified hires.
I second.
By Mr. Ramos.
Salcha.
Discussion.
Ms. Salcha.
Oh, is that you?
Ms. Salcha.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
He's just used to saying Mr. Ramos.
And we changed this whole configuration so that we could do better than that, and I still mess it up. All right, thank you. Any discussion, members of the board? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Barin?
Yes, item E, discussion action on the approval of certified summer school and 21st century community learning centers hires. Ms. Samaniego?
I do have to remove the last bullet point on column number 1. Jasmine Lopez is not interested, so without her name as presented. Jasmine Lopez.
Okay, Mr. Lennon, will you make that motion?
I move to approve the certified summer school and 21st century community center hires with the exception of Jasmine Lopez.
Second?
I second.
Ms. Salchow? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Barin?
Item F, discussion action on the approval of classified summer school and 21st century community learning centers and hires and the funding source. Ms. Samaniego?
As presented, these are all current employees in the district working for summer school.
Mr. Lennon, will you make
Move
that
to
motion?
approve these, item F.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Barin?
Yes. Item G, discussion action on the approval of classified resignations. Ms. Samaniego?
As presented, a bus driver, campus security, and food service worker, and they have different effective dates.
Motion to approve
I move to approve the classified resignations.
by Mr. Lindeman.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ramos. Discussion, board members. How long has that campus security person been? She just got hired, didn't she?
No, she's been there.
Oh,
This
okay, I thought
year.
it was, okay, wrong. Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes. Item H, discussion action on approval of request to rescind certified retirement. Ms. Samaniego?
As presented, Belinda Smith is a current teacher, and she's going to continue with the district, so as presented.
Motion to
Move to approve.
by Mr. Lindeman,
Second.
by Ms. Salchow. I just want to ask one question. She's a great teacher, and glad to see her stay. But in her letter, she says, I think I need a change from the classroom.
Yes.
Is she not going to be in the classroom?
She is. We have a teaching position for her, so.
Well, okay.
Okay.
I think she was considering something else at that moment, but she'll be in the classroom.
Motion to approve.
We already have a motion.
Oh, you already have motion?
I didn't roll call.
Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes. Item I, discussion action on approval of donations received for Douglas Unified Schools, number 27, Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, we have 2 donations, and you have the information there.
Motion to approve.
Move to approve the donations.
Second,
Second.
by Ms. Salchow. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes. Item J, discussion action on the approval of the following job description revisions. Ms. Samaniego.
Yes, they're all current existing positions. You have all 4 of them there. You have the changes in red italics, so as presented.
Mr. Lindeman, get a
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes. Item K, discussion action on the approval of increase in pay for those people listed there. Ms. Samaniego.
Yes, as presented, so this is due to the job description revision and desk audit that we performed, so as presented.
Motion to approve
Move to approve.
by Mr. Lindeman. Second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Discussion. Both of those are warranted without prioritizing one or the other, but the grants coordinator, with all of the things that have come down from the state and all the additional grants and reporting and all those things, that person maybe could work remotely and help the Department of Education with the voucher program.
Don't give her ideas.
Just kidding. If anybody knows what's going on with the voucher program in the state, it's a disaster. Roll call. We have a motion?
Yes, sir.
Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes. Item L, discussion action on the approval of certified transfer. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, Bianca Hernandez, who you know kind of fulfilled that role this year as interim, so as presented.
Entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Second.
Second.
Ms. Selcha.
Discussion.
I would just like to comment on Ms. Hernandez doing such a fine job all these years. I remember that she had my children in there and did a wonderful job, but I don't know if you can be replaced.
Well, and she will still teach 2 periods. She will teach the AP course and dual enrollment. So she wants to stay connected to kids still.
Very
So,
good. Thank you.
It's good to know we have those outstanding teachers in the district. We have a motion on the floor?
Yes, sir.
Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes. Item M, discussion action on the approval of classified transfer. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented. You have the background information there. Maria Gonzalez is the admin assistant, or will be named the admin assistant. She's the one that brings in all of our MIPS money that we have in the district and does all of that work, Medicaid billing, and all of that.
Entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Mr. Lindeman, second.
Second.
Ms. Salchow. Discussion, board members? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Beret?
Yes, item N, discussion, information only for certified internal transfer, Ms. Samaniego.
And this is just to document for all of our different departments. So Ms. Lucy Rosario is moving from the CTE counselor position to the existing CTE mental and social health teacher as a full-time teacher. This means that the CTE counselor position is vacant, and there is no change in pay because counselors are on the teacher salary schedule. So she wanted to go back into the classroom. So she'll still be at the high school. And so it was information purposes only.
Any discussion on that, members of the board?
I have a question. The CT counselor, was that a 9-month contract or was it a 10-month?
It's a 9, the counselor. Yeah, they end at the end of the year.
Item O, discussion action on the approval of renewal of the employee staffing agreement between Douglas Unified School District Number 27 and Educational Services Incorporated for the fiscal year 2023-24. Ms. Samaniego.
So this is just the renewal. This is our retire, rehire program, our ESI, so we just need to renew and submit it.
Entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
By Mr. Lindemann. Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Ramos. Discussion, board members?
I just had one quick question, Ms. Samaniego. Do we have, how many are taking advantage of this program now?
Mrs. Cox?
So currently we have 2, and for next year we have 3. So it'll be a total of 5.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Beret?
Yes, item P, discussion action on the approval of university grant agreement between the American International Intercontinental University and Douglas Unified School District. Ms. Samaniego.
My goal this year was to find something that would allow us to build our own program or grow your own for administrators, future administrators. As you've heard us say, not only is there a teacher shortage, but there is also a shortage of teachers going into administration. And so after contacting ADE and networking in the different committees and organizations that I participate in across the state, I was reached by the staff at Intercontinental University, and one of our very own former Douglas residents, Arturo Carrizosa, who is kind of a consultant for different organizations across the state and works a lot with me in different organizations. So I met with them, and this will allow us to grow our own program without having to create curriculum, invest a lot of time through this university partnership. So this will allow us to approve the teachers in letter Q, and the attorney has reviewed it, blessed it, and I'm bringing it before the board so that we can move forward and have an excellent group of administrators, qualified administrators, that we can hire in the future years.
Talk on how you determine the candidates. Or
Do you want me to talk about
the process you went through?
Do you want me to do that for Q, or you want me to do that now?
Oh, we'll do it
Yes,
for Q. We'll
okay.
approve the program
Yes,
first.
please.
All right.
I move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Smith. Any discussion, board members? All right, that's approving the program. Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Beret?
Yes. Item Q, discussion action on the approval of 9 teachers to participate in the master's program with American Intercontinental University. Ms. Samaniego.
As mentioned in my governing board update, when I brought this information out to you, what this agreement will allow us to do is to find a cohort of at least 10 teachers that can attain their master's in educational administration through Continental University through a partnership with DUSD, which is called the Impact Grant. And so I really wanted to bring it last board meeting, but Mr. Berain didn't allow me to. He's like, is there a need? Yes, there is a need. We don't have anybody locally going into administration. Is there a shortage of administrators? Yes, we do have a shortage of administrators. And do you have potential candidates? I said, absolutely I do. Let me find them. So I created an internal process, which was rigorous, and it wasn't easy to find the 9 candidates that you have here. It wasn't easy for them, it was easy for me, because I selected along with my administrative team. All of my principals were part of it. So what I did is I created an internal application consisting of an application, a letter of resume, a letter of interest, and a letter of recommendation from an administrator within the district. And through that first process, a committee selected the candidates that would go to round 2, which was an interview. And so what we wanted, and after discussions with Mr. Bahrain, was finding candidates that really would demonstrate the desire to be a future administrator. Because it wasn't about just getting a free master's, right? It was about really making the commitment that I'm going to earn my master's. The district is going to pay for part of it, and I'm going to get a scholarship. But I'm committing to being a pool within the pool of future leaders and having the opportunity to work as an assistant principal, dean of students, or whatever it is. So round 2 consisted of 11 candidates coming forward for an interview, and they met with 19 of us. They went through they met in a cohort of 4 or 5 of them came. They had like a panel interview, and they had to present and discuss and interview before the 19 administrators that we have, including my district leadership and our administrative team. So after going through that, we selected, and I brought them in from one last interview. I emailed them. Alma was my partner in crime. And I said, you have to come and show up at 7:30 the next day for a round 3, which is one interview with me by myself. And I brought them in. They were all very professionally dressed. Alma handed them a large yellow envelope with their name on it. And I said, you have one more question that you have to answer, and you each have a different question. I said, so open your envelope, and you all get a minute to read the question, and then I'm going to start the interview process. Well, in that envelope was their congratulatory letter. And you should have seen them all. They all cried. And so this is an excellent opportunity. Not only is it giving them financial assistance, it is the selection process. I think the input from the administrative team really selected the candidates that we felt had demonstrated the true desire to be administrators and the qualities and qualifications that they bring forth. 4 of the aspiring principals are here. They went through that academy, and as you heard Noemi Escalante say, and Shaylin, the opportunity that the board provided for us really made the difference in our decision to move forward. So this is our Grow Our Own program, and we're going to have 9 future certified, Arizona certified principals to move into leadership within 10 months. So we're presenting the 9 teachers to you that passed the test. Priscilla Cordova, instructional coach. Jessica Castillo, instructional coach. Diane Lomelí, instructional coach. Andrea Estrada, Paul Huber Middle School teacher. Michelle Yanez, Stevenson teacher. Noemi Escalante, Clausen teacher and recipient of the Aspiring Principal Academy. Maria Trinta, ESS DHS teacher, recipient of Aspiring Principal Academy. Martha Alonso Citi, DHS teacher and recipient of the Aspiring Principal Academy. And Suezan Pineda, Clausen teacher, recipient of the Aspiring Principal Academy. So you have before you 9 future administrators in the district.
Well, we haven't even approved
I
it.
know, but I'm presenting them to you. I'm presenting them to you.
You're right. And
No pressure.
We'll talk more about you guys in a minute, and I think it's great. And in defense of what I wanted to see some viable candidates first. Didn't want to come in here and approve the program and not have anybody available and find out they didn't have anybody. But I think it turned out wonderfully for all of you guys, and it's going to be a tremendous opportunity if it passes.
So the impact it would have on the district is the agreement allows us to grow our own program, and the investment on the district's end would be $5,000 towards the $18,000 tuition They will additionally get $13,000 in scholarship money from the university, and they will complete their 10-month program and certification through American Continental in 10 months.
And funding?
And funding for us would be $45,000 being paid out of our MIPS funding for the 9 teachers.
Okay, you guys can go ahead and sit down. Entertain a motion.
I move to approve.
Is there a second? Second. This is going to be great, and I'll tell you that one of the advantages is when they start, and I thought she would mention it, is that, you know, the state allows, the State Board of Education allows the district to have their alternative program, and you have your own grown, and you have to get it certified with the state and go through all of these hoops, you know, before you can get approved. Doing it through them, they are already certified by the state. That Intercontinental University, they're already certified. So all we have to do is this. And then to me, if any administrative job comes open, the way I read it with the state rules on certification, that as long as they're in a program, which this is an alternative program, that if an administrative job were to come open, even supervisory, that while they're in the program, they can get an interim certificate. So it's almost immediate. So
it is.
So it's a tremendous advantage to the district. All right, members of the board, any questions you got, Mr.
Mrs. Samaniego, congratulations, everyone, and you know, I'll just blow my own horn here and say that I have a master's in administration and a certificate and all that. But, Mrs. Samaniego, did you scare away all the men?
No, we had several men interested, and I had an informational meeting first, and I think I had like 26 attendees in my first virtual meeting. There were some men, and there were some men that did apply. And so I didn't scare them away, or I wasn't being only, you know, women power. But if this is a success, and, you know, we hope to be able to do this in the future and maybe assist other individuals who are trying to get into a master's program in administration or others. And I think it's a great way to, also something else that DUSD is doing for our employees. A benefit.
Will these candidates have a mentor, an administrative mentor while they're working on this?
Yes, because they have to do a practicum, so they have to work under an administrator. And so if approved tonight, my next step is to contact the gentleman at the university. We're going to set up a registration meeting, so they're going to complete all of the paperwork to get admitted into the university, because we want them to start probably in the June cohort.
Mr. Lindeman, were you implying that you want to be on that list?
I do have the certificate for superintendent.
Too.
Just saying.
Yes.
That's a lot of pressure on her.
Yes,
Sitting on the board, that's a lot of pressure.
I'm going to go sit back there with Melissa.
If you want him off the board, you fire him. No, okay. Any board members? Any more questions, comments about the program? Again, as soon as they get in that program, that interim supervisory, if something comes up,
it's actually
they're
interim.
qualified for it.
It's actually the interim principal, Mr. Buring, that they can apply, and I was going to meet with them and talk to them about that when they were approved.
Okay, great. Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindeman?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Buring?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So, congratulations, ladies. You've earned it.
Now, that really is going to be an advantage to the district. It's because of the immediacy, and if they stick with it, and I think everyone that participating, there's no doubt they'll be there. Item R, discussion action on the approval to pay an invoice from fiscal year 2021-22 for the Douglas High School accreditation review. That's why I'm telling you, those people that attended that on the budget, we're having to pay an invoice now from 2 years ago, and this is unheard of. Go ahead, Mr. Soto.
Well, it's not unheard of. I mean, it kind of happens. Not that often, yes, I'll admit.
That happens here, it doesn't happen anywhere else. Anyway, go ahead, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, I mean, this, per policy, I mean, we have to bring it to the board when things like this happen and when we have to pay invoices from previous school years. This particular issue, I mean, happened at the high school, and it was when that transition from principals. This was for accreditation, and it's funny that we were talking about accreditation a little bit ago, but you have to pay for those services. And again, when there was a transition of principals, I guess Mrs. Rodriguez wasn't aware of that services of the invoice. So the invoice showed up all of a sudden a couple years after, and says, "Where's my money?" Luckily, we got the accreditation and everything, so now we have to pay it. And again, by policy, because it's in a different school year, then we have to bring it to the board. And so here we are.
Entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Smith. Board members, any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes. Item S, discussion action on the submission of proposed issues for consideration of the ASBA proposed 2024 political agenda. Ms. Samaniego?
So you have the political agenda there, and we have to, you have the background. There's a form we have to fill out and send in by May 24th. So if you agree on those or any other issues that we need to bring forth as part of the political agenda.
Well, Ms. Salcho, well, first of all, get a motion on the floor.
I move to approve.
Second,
Second.
by Mr. Smith. Ms. Salcho, you represented us last time at ASB, right?
Yes,
So
I did.
seriously, is there anything that you want to add regarding the political agenda? I think ASB is generally, the administrative staff there generally covers everything unless there's something totally extraneous to what they consider that school boards would want to do. So is there anything that you can think of?
Not really. It was a real eye-opener about how things are approved to take to the legislature or to recommend to our elected officials. Yeah, it was really different. There was a lot of arguing that went on. Very divided factions. I was really surprised. I was blown away.
Well, I think it reflects the state of the state in
It does.
education.
It does.
With the madness that's going on at the legislature anyway. Mr. Lindeman, of course, you had that before. Any comments regarding that or anything that?
I kind of agree with Ms. Selchow. I was the delegate here for our school for about 10 years, and before me it was Mr. Ramos. And so, it just seems that things get more chaotic instead of better. I don't know why, but that's what it seems.
I just wanted to say, 10 years ago, they still argued. And they're still arguing today.
Yeah, they are. And it seemed like there was a big underlying current from certain factions that they didn't, they picked every little tiny thing apart and tried to connect it to some other type of political agenda. And it's like, we're talking about preschool here. But no, yeah.
Well, with what's going on in all the bills that have been introduced and passed by both houses, and we're never going to see them, thank God, is because they're being vetoed. But people don't even know. A lot of people don't even know what the craziness that's being put into those bills about what they want teachers to do and those kinds of things. So, anyway, you're going to represent us again at the council meeting when they have that, the legislative council. All right, so we got a motion on the floor?
Yes, sir.
That's slow, you better speed that up a little bit. No, I'm the guy that's slow. Roll call, if there's no more
Mr. Smith?
discussion.
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes. Item 4, the governing board may vote into executive session pursuant to ARS 38431-03, subsection A, number 1, for the following personnel matter: consideration of a 2022-23 certified teacher to be released from his contract. Entertain a motion to do that.
I move to enter into executive session.
Is there a second?
Second.
And,
Roll-
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to make an announcement. Go ahead. Do the roll call.
Roll call. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Alcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, before we go into executive session, it is Principal Appreciation Day yesterday, and so I want to thank all of our administrators, our assistant principals and principals. So if you, before you leave, please, Mr. Soto will walk over to Alma's office and in the reception area, hand you our little token of appreciation to each one of you. So wanted to say that it was National Principal Day yesterday. So thank you for all the many hours and wonderful things that are happening at our sites.
You ready, Marco? We're back in open session. Item 5A, discussion action on the request of the release of the fiscal year 2022-23 contract submitted by Mr. Mark Lucero, certified teacher, Douglas High School. Mr. Lindeman?
Yeah, I move to approve the request of a release of contract for Mr. Mark Lucero with liquidated damages of $1,500 and non-rehirable.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Samaniego, do you go along with that motion?
Yes, I do.
Is that would be your recommendation?
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion, members of the board? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes. Number 6, information item, Ms. Samaniego.
So the promotion ceremonies for Paul Huber Middle School will take place May 24th at 8:30 a.m. and you will get an invite. Ray-Barain Middle School at 10:30 a.m. on May 24th. The last day of school, and it's an early release, is May 24th. I'm sorry, 24th. And Douglas High School graduation is May 26th. And on Monday, May 29th, we will all be off for Memorial Day.
Was the last day of school the 25th?
21st.
24th, actually, it's a typo there.
Yeah, it was a
Oh, it's
typo,
a typo.
24th.
It should be 24th.
So the last day of school is the 24th.
Wednesday, the 24th.
Wait a minute, is the 26th of Friday?
Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
Right. Oh, okay. Last day of school is the 24th.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Got it. All right, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Before we do that, may I ask, can we, or what are we going to do for the graduation? Sometimes we've met here and been bussed over. Sometimes we just go over there, which is kind of a mess.
No, we can have you, if you prefer to come here, and then we can have somebody drive you from one of the security and drive you over. Or if you prefer, yeah, the parking is horrible. If you
Yeah.
prefer to have somebody drop you off, it's best to have them drop you off in the back of the field, and then you can go through the gate.
Right.
So
That's-
Alma will be in contact with you, and then you
Okay.
can let her know if you prefer to be picked up here.
Okay, because I know last year, I barely squeezed my truck into the back there, and then and then the parking, and then of course Mr. Ramos who said they wouldn't even let him in because he was,
Yeah.
you know.
No, I couldn't even get in there either. They had me park outside, so
I was just wondering if we can make that a little bit easier.
I had to tell the security who I was. And then I was supposed to, and then all of a sudden the gator appeared. And I rode in the gator over. So.
Well, we should do what they do at the city council. They don't do it anymore, but there were some guys on the city council back in those days. One of the first things they'd say to me, would say, would you please have the staff notify the police department that we're members of the council and show them our picture.
So Alma will be in contact with you, and if that is, we can have you picked up here and then driven to the ceremony.
Yeah, because a few years ago, before the pandemic hit, we did meet here and we had our vehicles here.
Yeah.
They brought us over, and of course,
And then-
then afterwards they bring us back.
Yeah.
So that worked out smoother, I think.
Okay, you guys got the reception in there, don't you?
What reception?
I thought you had something for the principals.
No, they picked up their little.
Oh, okay, I thought you
appreciation.
wanted to get in there. Anyway, Alma keeps telling me she wants to watch the Warriors, so.
Move to adjourn.
We have a motion by Mr. Lindeman, second.
Second.
By Ms. Selch. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, board members.